It's Dr. Seuss's sleep book. Maybe this is a story you should read right before you go to bed. We'll see. Look at him hanging down, sleeping. Well, let's see how it goes. The news just came in from the county of Keck that a very small bug by the name of Van Vleck is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is, so I'm bothering to telling you so. And there it is, the little bug yawning so big. Oh, just like that. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start other yawns off. Now the news has come in that some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks. At this moment right now, under seven more noses, great yawns are in blossom. They're blooming like roses. Oh, look at there. Oh, they're all yawning. Can you yawn for me? Go. There they are yawning. Oh, yeah. The yawn of that one little bug is still spreading. According to the latest reports, it is heading across the wide fields through the sleepy night air, across the whole country toward every which where, and people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy. I've had quite a day. Look, they're all yawning. Even that little bug up there. Look, that guy in the house over there. They're all yawning. Oh. Creatures are starting to think about rest. Two biffer birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder how they do this big job without making a blunder. But that is their problem, not yours and not mine. The point is they're going to bed, and that's fine. There they are, building their nest. What kind of birds did he say these were? Biffer birds. There they are. Look at that. They're building with bricks and string and everything else. Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkheimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gurgling gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. There they are. Do you see them? They're under the falls brushing their teeth. Can you see them? The news just came in from the castle of Krupp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, my drawbridge is drawn and it's going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round with a special delivery letter. Oh. See, the stars are out. There's the moon. And there's the drawbridge drawer. He's turning that wheel and it's pulling the drawbridge up. At the castle of Krupp. The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culpeper Springs, in the Stilt Walkers Hall, the Stilt Walkers stilts are all stacked on the wall. The Stilt Walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out, and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know, and that's why I'm bothering telling you so. See, there's the stilts. See, they would get up there, and they put their feet on those little hooks right there, and they're able to walk, and they look like tall giants. They are the stilt walkers with their stilt walkers on the walls. Snoozing away. Way out in the west, in the town of Merced, the Hinkle Honking Club just went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinkle hook nook. All this long happy day they've been honking about, and the Hinkle honkers have honked themselves out. But they'll wake up quite fresh in the morning, and then they'll start right in Hinkle honking again. This is hard to read. There they are sleeping. There's their horns in their Hinkle Hinklehorn Nooks. Hinklehorn, yep, Hinklehorn Nooks. There they are. Look, they got names on them. There's George's, there's Henry's, there's Freddie's. Everywhere creatures are falling asleep. The collapsible frink just collapsed in a heap, and by adding the frink to the others before, I am able to give you the who's asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, sleepily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree that's a whopping fine number. Here's the frink, the collapsible frink. Look at how everything is collapsed. His arm, his neck, right, there's his legs. They're all collapsing. What a hairdo. What do you think about that hairdo? Oh my goodness. Counting up sleepers. Just how do we do it? Really quite simple. There's nothing much to it. We find out how many. We learn the amount by an audio tally count. On a mountain halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome which listens and looks into everyone's home, and whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a new biggle ball drop. Our chap counts these balls as they plop in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who's up. Here's the listening devices. You see that? Here's a plexiglass dome, and there's the little balls, and every time somebody goes to sleep, boop, another ball falls down, and he just counts the balls. See, there he is. What you do is you do 4 lines down, right? Go 1, 2, 3, 4, and when you hit 5, you cross through it, and that tells you every time you see that? Those are 5s, groups of 5s. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers, Joe and Mo Redzoff, have just gone to sleep, and they're talking their heads off. For 55 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to each other. They've talked about laws, and they've talked about gauze. They've talked about paws, and they've talked about flaws. They've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for the jaws. Here they are. They're sleeping, and they're talking to each other in their sleep. Those are the Joe and Mo Redzoff. Do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group, which not only walks, but it walks a la hoop. Every night they go miles. Why? They walk to such length they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down his hoop, stops hooping, and does some quick snooping for soup. That's why they are known as the Hoop Soup Snoop Group. That's so hard to say. There they are, sleepwalking with their hoops, and one's looking for soup. The Hoop Soup Snoop Group. Can you say that? Say that 2 times fast. Sleepwalking, too, are the curious Crandalls, who sleepwalk on hills with assorted-sized candles. The Crandalls walk nightly in slumbering peace, in spite of slight burns from the hot, dripping grease. The Crandalls wear candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, want to see where they are. There they are, but they're candles walking. Look, tall candles, short candles. Look, that one's got a double candle, right? They're all over the place. Now the news has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippendale mup has just bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but really it's wise. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way he makes sure that he'll wake at the right time of day. His tail is so long, he won't feel any pain till the nip makes the trip and gets up to his brain. In exactly 8 hours, the Chippendale mup will at last feel the bite and yell, ouch, and wake up. There he is biting his tail. Look at his long, long tail. It goes all the way around there. Who knows how far it goes there. And then it comes here. By the time he feels the bite, going all that distance. It's been 8 hours and it wakes him up. Huh, pretty funny. The Chippendale Mupp. A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmichael Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox, and they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not at all sure that I quite understand just how the thing works with that one extra hand, but I do know this clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock. How it goes is talk-tick. So with ticks in its talker and talks in its ticker, it saves lots of time and the sleepers sleep quicker. There's the clock with the extra hand. And there they are sleeping away. What a fine night for sleeping from all that I hear. It's the best night for sleeping in many a year. They're even asleep in the Zwiebeck Motel, and people don't usually sleep there too well. The beds are like rocks, and as everyone knows, the sheets are too short, they won't cover your toes. So, if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be the air. So there's the Zwiebeck Motel, and everybody's asleep. It's a great night for snores. I just did a snore tonight. It's a great night for snores. I just had a report of some boys who are tops in this musical sport. The snortiest snorers in all our fair land are Snorter McPhill and his Snore-a-Snort band. This band can snore Dixie and Old Swanee River so loud it would make 40 elephants shiver. The loudest of all of the boys is McPhail. He snores with his head in a 3-gallon pail. So they snore in a cave 20 miles out of town. If they snored closer in, they would snore the town down. There they are snoring. Do you know who's asleep out in Funa Laguna? Two very fine Funa Laguna baboona. We've added them into our Who's Asleep count, which has grown to a really amazing amount. Exactly 8,808 creatures are sleeping now. Isn't that great? Here they are, the Funa Laguna baboona, hanging from a tree asleep. A Jed is in bed, and the bed of a Jed is the softest of beds in the world, it is said. He makes it from pom-poms and grows on his head, and he's sleeping right now on the softest of fluff, completely exhausted from growing the stuff. There he is, a Jed. Right, and there he is, he's grown it out of his head. And he made a whole bed, the softest bed of all. The news has come in from the district of Doft. The two oft are asleep, and they're sleeping aloft. And how are they able to sleep off the ground? I'll tell you, I weighed one last week, and I found that an oft is so light he weighs minus 1 pound. There they are, the ofts, and they're floating. See, they're floating. Look at the little signs. It says, "Someone please pull at 8 a.m. Thanks." Pull what? Oh, pull their tails. That's what it is. And this one says, "This one too, please." So you pull this tail down and you pull that tail down. And you get the offs back on the ground. A moose is asleep. He is dreaming of moose drinks. A goose is asleep. He is dreaming of goose drinks. That's well and good when a moose dreams of moose drinks, and nothing goes wrong when a goose dreams of goose drinks, but it isn't too good when a moose and a goose start dreaming they're drinking the other one's juice. Moose juice, not goose juice, is juice for a moose, and goose juice, not moose juice, is juice for a goose. So when goose gets a mouthful of juices of mooses and moose gets a mouthful of juices of gooses, they always fall out of their bed screaming scream. So I'm warning you now, never drink in your dreams. There's moose dreaming moose juice, and there's goose dreaming goose juice. You don't want to mix them up. That's pretty funny. I have a friend who goes by the name of Moose. I wonder if he'd like that. Speaking of dreaming, I think you should note that the Bumble Tub Club is now dreaming afloat. Every night they go dreaming down Bumble Tub Creek, except for one night every third or fourth week, when they stop for repairs cause their Bumble Tubs leak. But tonight they're afloat, full of dreams, full of bliss, and that's why I'm bothering telling you this. There they are. These are the Bumble Tub Club. There they go. They're going down in their little tubs, sleeping. See them? Way up there, all the way down here. At the fork of a road in the Vale of Avode, 5 foot weary salesmen have laid down their load. All day they've raced round in the heat at top speeds and unsuccessfully trying to sell zizzer zoof seeds, which nobody wants because nobody needs. Tomorrow will come, they'll go back to their chore, they'll start on the road, zizzer zoofing once more, but tonight they've forgotten their feet are so sore, and that's what the wonderful nighttime is for. There they are, all the salesmen sleeping. Everywhere, creatures have shut off their voices. They've all gone to bed in the beds of their choices. They're sleeping in bushes. They're sleeping in crannies. Some on their stomachs and some on their fannies. They're peacefully sleeping in comfortable holes. Some even on soft tufted shop poles. The number of sleepers is now past the millions. The number of sleepers is now in the billions. There they are, sleeping in nooks and crannies on top of the barbershop pole, and then over here. They're sleeping on steps and on strings and on floors and mailboxes, ships, and the keyholes of doors. Every worm on a fishhook is safe for the night. Every fish in the sea is too sleepy to bite. Every whale in the ocean has turned off his spout. Every light between here and Farfoodle is out. And now, adding things up, we are way beyond billions. Our Who's Asleep score is now up in the zillions. Look, everybody's asleep all across the top of the door, in the door hole, the keyhole, in the bushes up here. Look, they're even sleeping way over here on the ship out at sea. Look at that, everybody's asleep. 99 zillion, 9 trillion, and 2 creatures are sleeping, so how about you? Everybody's asleep. How about you? When you put out your light, then the number will be 99 zillion, 9 trillion, and 3. That was a fun story. Good night. That's what it says at the end. It says, good night. Love you. Bye. See ya.